Hey Dragon Slayers. So today's video is about the next book that I will cover called Lies My Doctor Told Me by Ken Berry. So here is an excerpt from the foreword, which is written by Dr. Gary Fettke. Lies My Doctor Told Me is a survival kit for both patients and doctors alike. This is not a book about doctor bashing as much as a resource for all parties to create an open discussion regarding healthy options. Patients want and need to be informed, and doctors need to be able to openly discuss the information that's widely available to patients. The adage of trust me, I'm a doctor no longer has the credibility of yesteryear. Doctors are becoming far more accountable to their patients, and the only way for doctors to survive is to read more in and around medicine. Too many doctors across the globe practice the myths covered in Lies My Doctor Told Me. Patients need to be informed of the misconceptions that lurk out there, particularly in the doctor's office. The intent of this book is not necessarily to blame individual doctors, rather, the purpose is to consider the health washing of their medical education that has been tainted by vested interest, including the pharmaceutical and food industries. The ideological basis. The more you look, the more you find the agendas of industry and ideology that have affected research outcomes. There is no greater manipulation in the field of nutrition science, and Lies My Doctor Told Me spends some time denouncing myths in this area. We became confused in believing that nutrition science was the same as medical science. The former has been promoted by the food industry for over 100 years and is based around improving profit, palatability, shelf life, transportability, and lastly, health. Medical science should be based on the scientific method and incorporate observations, hypotheses, testing, conclusions, and cautious implementation with ongoing review. This remarkable oversight that resulted in linking the two and calling nutrition science a science may be the biggest human health tragedy of all time. Dr. Gary Fettke had numerous health issues of his own, despite following conventional traditional guidelines, and he paid the price for it. It was when he started challenging these entrenched dogmas, particularly around nutrition, that he found that virtually everything was a house of cards, collapsing with the simplest of questions of the so called research and nutrition science. He dares to challenge peer reviewed nutritional guidelines and was reprimanded accordingly with the threat of medical deregistration. In his 35 years as a medical practitioner, at least half of what he can remember from medical school is now defunct. If we continue to accept this concept of knowledge obsolescence, then at least half of our current guidelines are going to be proven incorrect and therefore potentially harmful to the community. His concern is that the current opinion has become entrenched as guidelines that have become rule books for doctors. Dissenters do not get invited to be on the guideline recommendation committees, challenging those guidelines, which are often influenced by vested pharmaceutical and food industry interests, has become a roadblock to progress. Many doctors fear the wrath of their governing bodies. Doctors must be accountable to their patients. He hears from patients almost daily that they don't trust their doctors. Science evolves by being challenged, not by being followed. So I think that this is such a great book to go over because it is very topical to the subject of diabetes, metabolic condition, and lots of other chronic illnesses. So I'm really excited to share this one with you guys, and we'll both learn a lot together about lies that our doctor has told us. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.